Some great reaction on YouTube with these full episodes. All kinds of thumbs up, but also people leaving comments. Seem to get more comments on the YouTube broadcast than we do on the podcast platforms. Keep it coming. Love interacting with everybody. It's 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon.
Yeah, if you would just not wear a hat, and so your camera wouldn't zoom in and out as much, then
Why, does it bug people?
Well, there's a couple of comments. I thought you said you read the comments.
I didn't see those.
Yeah, I did.
Really?
No, the new Zoom system, it has to find your eyes to figure out what's going on. And when you wear the hat and you dip down, that's the problem.
Oh, so when I dip down, it's looking for my eyes, and when it can't find my eyes, it looks at one of the pictures or the mask?
The goalie mask, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's zooming in on Yura Sira.
You're who?
Yura Sira.
Yura?
Yuri
Sira. But or John Garrett.
Or John Garrett. Yeah. Or Gilles Gratton or Wayne Stevens. I'm surprised it doesn't go with the Wayne Stevenson with the logos on the eyes.
Well, I think anyway, I don't know the technology, but it's one of those things that when you wear the hat and you put your
representing 100% hockey.
Oh no, I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. It's fantastic.
It's close to you ever been to a nickname. 100% hockey. I'm proud of you, man.
Well, I could call you by your nickname.
Mallard.
Gyprock. That's that we're gonna make that stick, baby. Gyprock.
Hashtag Gyprock. That's how they're building the facilities in Italy. A lot of Gyprock. Now, when you put up a screw, do you use the anchors or do you just put the nail or the screw in to hang something in the Gyprock?
I've started to be a little more mature, so I'm using anchors now.
And do you use the anchors that screw in, or do you use the ones that go in and butterfly out? I hate those butterfly ones.
The butterfly ones work better, though.
They do. They do. I'm just not
work
as,
better.
as
but I have so many things from IKEA that I have the little anchors anyway. So I just go and find the easiest one. I have a jar full of anchors. So
you don't want to be.
That's kind of like a coach in the old Western League. A jar full of anchors on my team. So.
You don't want to be picking up the pieces after they fall down. Sort of like what Washington went through last night.
Oh, man.
They won, but have you seen anything like what they went through with a weird goal off the boards that banked in off Charlie Lindgren, who played it great? He gets hurt in overtime, stays in the game, can barely move in the shootout, and yet still wins. And then they have to carry him off the ice. It was fictional in real life.
The only thing I thought of is there's Charlie Lindgren being carried off the ice, and Ryan Lindgren, he would not want to be carried off the ice. I mean, Ryan Lindgren is one of the toughest guys I've ever seen play the game, and he's blocking shots left and right in Seattle, and refuses to go to the bench. He still wants to play.
That was incredible. A goaltender being carried off the ice after winning a game in a shootout. Yeah. And I did feel a little bit bad for Clay Stevenson, the backup goaltender. He'd just been recalled because Logan Thompson wasn't available. And here's Charlie just grinding through nails. That's what they call it, nails.
Did you feel bad for Patrick Kane to have to celebrate twice?
That was odd. Okay, it was one of those things that we were all thinking about when Alexander Ovechkin was chasing down Wayne's record. Like, what if he scores and there's a challenge and it takes it off the board? It was in the back of all of our minds. And then it played out with Patrick Kane becoming the all-time most prolific U.S.-born player in the National Hockey League. Spencer Carberry, I love you, but that's one you should have eaten.
No, you can't. I mean, the way the Caps have
I'm going to tell Spencer that same thing.
Okay, that's good. But I just don't think with points at such a premium right now that you can afford to be a nice guy. You can't.
I bet you he thought about it, like in the back of his mind, do I do this?
He's promised to come on during the Olympic break, so we'll ask him.
I'm going to I can't because I can't think for him, but without being inside his head, he thought about it, like, do I undo this moment? Because on an offside, you're fairly confident. Those are more black and white.
The video guys in this league now, when you know if there's an offside call, you know exactly what's going on.
This is more inside the game, but you know how they changed the offside play? You don't have to drag your foot.
Right.
It can be in the air. Do you think it's made any difference?
No. But
I don't think so either.
What it has done, though, is it's
allowed some place to stay on side because a guy's foot's in the air instead of.
But it has got rid of one of the obstacles that people thought were always an issue, and how stupid that was. You had to keep your skate on the ice because people don't keep their skates on the ice. So it's resolved a little bit of the conjecture more than anything else. But I don't think it's affected anything that we've watched.
But at least with the foot on the ice, it was easier to say, well, that.
Well,
foot is on the line.
The argument was always big. Can the camera actually show the foot on the ice because of angles? Their angles really do change the optics of a situation. It's called the parallax view.
No, we had one in Vegas the other night where the camera from center ice, and it was down low, made it look like it was onside, and the camera along the blue line, it was clear as day that it was offside. It was amazing. And Daren Elliott and I were looking at each other going, those look like two different plays.
So I was on TV for 10 years. It was the most important thing I ever did for 2 minutes, was explain the parallax view.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was during the goal.
It was whether a goal was puck was across the line or not.
Yeah. It's on YouTube. I might tweet it out later today after the show, just so people say, "Here's what
parallax view."
Yep. And I had spent so many nights in the Situation Room in Toronto that these guys understood that all the time, and so that's why the story could get told, and it makes sense. The optics of a situation change every degree of angle. And that's the challenge that they have, although they've done a great job with cameras on the blue line, cameras in the crossbar, cameras everywhere. And technology's allowed the league to be that much more efficient, including an offside goal on a milestone moment.
Tell you, we had your chemistry set out last show, and now we got the parallax view.
Chemistry set, I forgot.
Hey, do you think they'll change the challenge rules going forward? I keep hearing that people would like it tweaked, that it's gone beyond what the intended quest was to get rid of the major ones, the obvious ones. No. But I don't see coaches ever backing off this. If that goal's offside, they want to take it off.
Right.
If they've scored.
And I mean, I was in those meetings with the league when the video review got more advanced, and Colin Campbell and Gary Bettman just reminded the managers, be careful what you ask for, because it will get more complex. And it has. But I think in the long run, it's gotten better for the game. And when you consider now, Daren, the information that comes out, how it's used, and sports betting, you have to be more accurate. You have to be as accurate as possible. And now that, legalized sports betting and partnerships between betting companies and leagues, it has become vital to be correct as opposed to be fast. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons I think that we're not going to tweak it. And in fact, I would say at some point, maybe there's a challenge even to make it more complex. I don't know what that is, but that's something that has to be in the back of the mind.
I can tell you, it's a high stick goal. That's where you can make it more definitive, because a high stick puck knocked into the net is the most difficult thing for the Situation Room to call or overturn.
Yep. Again, all because of angles, where's the viewfinder on the camera versus where the stick is? Is that an angle? How does it reflect?
And we put digital ads on the boards. Can't we calibrate one camera to the net and the 4 feet tall? And can't we do that?
But the boards don't move. See, the boards don't move.
But the net doesn't either.
The net doesn't, but
so then you can just have this line and go, okay, that stick is above.
But the other problem issue is that we have two rules about high sticking. One for the net and one for the shoulder.
Only one matters when it comes to goals.
But it's not the net that becomes the issue. It's where the stick is. So now are you putting a chip in every stick?
No, I'm putting a line on the crossbar that comes out and being able to tell whether that stick is contacting the puck on the line, over the line, or under the line.
Okay,
that's simple. That's what I would propose. I don't know how you do it. I can't code that thing, but that's what I would do.
You're typing code now?
Oh,
last week you're putting up gyprock, and now you're building code?
Actually, in computer science, who was Mr. Bonk back in the day?
On ComSci?
In ComSci, with Kevin Cheveldayoff. He was part of that class. We were pretty good at writing code. Mr. Fraser too, but some of my classmates took it too far with bugging him.
Well, tell you what. I tell you what. I know what Mr. Fraser's going through.
Yes, I know. I should give him a shout.
You should apologize. Just phone and apologize. Don't even say hello. Don't even say hello. Just say, Mr. Fraser, Daren Millard, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
That's right.
Jim Nill is going to join us, the general manager of the Dallas Stars. His team was in town last night. They were up big 4-1 after 2, and Vegas stormed back and forced overtime and went to a shootout. Pretty wild hockey game. And the weird part about it was nobody dominated. It wasn't like somebody outshot the other team 13-3 in a period and scored a bunch of goals. It was just pretty even all the way through. Just guys took advantage of their chances.
To me, that game last night, 15 games last night was wild.
It's too many.
Well,
too many in one night.
You know how many games there are on Friday night?
16?
1.
Not enough.
One. There's one.
Not enough.
So
if there's 5 games, I can watch them, John.
I know.
Or I can catch up. 15, I can't catch up.
Okay, well, because let's face it, it's all about you.
Yeah, Steve Hatchapressos and I need to have a conversation.
Another one?
Yeah.
I thought he talked you off the ledge the last time.
Well, he was good about putting Vegas in Canada for 3 games when Rasmus Anderson could play. I appreciated that.
Yeah. Because Steve knew last April when he finished the schedule. They're going to be getting Rasmus Anderson.
There's good immigration, so this will be a good time for him to play in Canada.
Oh my God, we got to go.
All right, Jim Nill on the other side. What tales will we tell with the general manager of the Dallas Stars? It's 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon.
NHL TV is now on DAZN. Hockey lives here.
Here we go.
Watch every game from every team. The best players in the world. And the coldest plays on ice. Watch up to 4 games at once for the ultimate NHL experience. Sign up now at DAZN.
Here he is coming off an eventful night last night in Vegas. And let's start there. Did you think that you'd won the game? And then did you think you might be losing the game? Like, where were your emotions last night?
It kind of, and you guys have been watching games. It kind of just shows you the type of year it is. I was watching games, because we're out in Vegas, of course, the time change. You're watching all the other games, and you see Carolina score 3 goals in 2 minutes, and you see Detroit come back and tie up a game. It was just it was a crazy night. But that's kind of a snapshot of the season. I don't know how you guys feel, but it's one of those years, between, is it condensed schedule, is it the parity, whatever. But there's some crazy games, and our game was kind of a micro.
It's hard to gain some level of, even if it's possible, of momentum between games.
Yeah, no, it is. It's been, like I said, I don't know if roller coaster is a word. It's just been interesting all year, just to get a feel for your team, get a feel for the rest of the league, because it's really been a roller coaster.
So here you are. You went to the Western Conference Final last year, and then changed coaches. How would you describe the change from Pete DeBoer to Glenn Gulutzan?
Well, both very good coaches. Pete's a great coach, had great success. Unfortunately, we had to make a change, and then we brought in Glenn, who's had a lot of success. Has been with Edmonton, had a lot of success. He's paid his dues. We're fortunate to kind of know him a little bit, our organization, because he was with our organization 14 years ago. Started out in the minor league system and worked his way up to Dallas during kind of their bankruptcy years. And like I said, he went and paid his dues, and he's one of the new, I guess you say, new breed of coaches. It's different dealing with players nowadays, and he's come in and done a great job. He's a great communicator. He demands respect, but he lets the young guys kind of earn their stripes, but gives them a little love along the way too. And we got off to a great start to the season. They had a lot of injuries, and I was worried. I thought, boy, you're bringing in a new coach. We had a ton of injuries to start the season, and we got off to a great start. And little rocky road here in December, but every team's going to go through that. And people don't want to hear this, but you probably want to go through it then, sometime during the season. And now we're kind of building ourselves out of it. So overall, Glenn's done a great job.
Where's your team different than they were a year ago under Pete?
That's a good question. We're a little bit more of a puck possession team. We under Pete's system, it was get the puck up quick, get into the zone quick. We're a little bit more of a puck possession team, and that probably comes a little bit from being in Edmonton. The team he was assistant coach there under Chris, so probably a little bit under that. And so, like I say, he's done a great job, and it's been a challenging. You guys are living it. It's, Daren, you're living it. It's a challenging season just with this condensed schedule and the travel and, east to west games. And so, like I said, our coaches have done a great job.
And we've talked about this before. I think Dallas has the worst travel in the league. Nobody understands that when they look at the map, but it's true.
Yeah, well, like I said, don't get me on that, but it is what it is. Our closest game is an hour and a half. That's St. Louis, and everything else is 2 hours to 4 hours. And but like I said, I try not to. I tell our players it's what it is, and you deal with it. Our players do a good job with it. Where it really hurts us is probably our practice time. Between the 4 days off you have to have a month. And you can't, if you land any time after midnight, 1 o'clock, that the next day doesn't count as a day off. It's counted as a travel day, so it's a practice day. But we get in. We always talk. It's 2:30. It's always 2:30 in the morning. We get in. Doesn't matter where we're coming from. So the next day is usually a day off, but no practice time. So that's where it probably hurts us the most.
Is the 4 days off a month that's mandatory almost a blessing this year? Like it forces you to take your foot off the gas?
Yeah, I think it probably is. That's a good point. Yeah. Probably is. And, we all got sports performance departments now. We've all, monitoring our sleep and our rest. And like I said, not a lot of practice. I don't think a lot of teams are practicing a lot. It's just you're playing every second day. You travel in between it or you need the rest or it's an off ice workout you do. But it's been interesting to see the players adapt to it. I'm old-time hockey, and I used to love to skate, even if it was go out for half an hour, a morning skate, And now it was an automatic morning skate is what you had. And now you go to the rinks in the morning, nobody's skating, everybody's just doing their stretching, whatever. And as a player myself, I love that morning skate. I love to just get the feel for the sticks, everything else. These players have really adapted to it. They kind of are getting used to that. Yeah, it's not a must anymore, and they've really adjusted their game and how they prepare for games as far as the morning skates.
Is that your old habit from skating on the sloughs back in Hannah?
Yeah, maybe it is. I even remember, it's funny going back to Jacques Demir's days when we were in Detroit, and actually the Islanders started it. The 1 year the Islanders started it because of travel. Rinks were downtown. And players live out in the suburbs. And it wasn't a bad idea. You get up in the morning, you drive to the rink anywhere from half an hour to an hour, get there, do your morning skate, drive back home, hour and a half. get something to eat, maybe have a little bit of nap, and then you got to head back to the rink again, another hour and a half drive. And what the Islanders started, we started doing it in Detroit, Jacques Demers did it. You'd stay home all morning and most of the afternoon, and you'd come to the rink at 3 in the afternoon, and you'd go on the ice, have a light skate, go in, have a shower, relax, and get ready for the game. And I kind of enjoyed that. But you're not allowed to do it anymore because, they want the ice. The ice has to be nobody on the ice 2-3 hours before the game. Get the ice, and then they want the rink to be cold and that, so you're not allowed to do that anymore. But I didn't mind that. It was a different way to kind of get your skate in or get a stretch in before the game, and then you'd sit down, relax for about half an hour, and get ready for the game. Away you went.
Darren Elliott told me that story about being in Detroit and you guys doing that. And I always only kind of half believed him because I'd never heard it before or heard that approach before.
It saved you about an hour and a half, 2 hours of driving in the morning and afternoon. And, the Islanders started, the traffic, in New York, how that is. So they stopped doing it. And then, so we started doing it, and I enjoyed it. You got to stay at home, get up in the morning. If you had a family and young kids, get up, be with the kids, spend the morning with them, maybe take them to school, and relax, have your pregame meal, and then you'd head to the rink at about 2:00. So it wasn't too bad.
Do you still view yourself as a player? We're about the same age, Jim, but do you always think back to your times when you're plotting something with your team about what you did when you played?
Well, you like to dwell on those experiences. I think it's important. You're making, you're talking about practice, or you're talking about, something's going on in the dressing room, something's going on somewhere, or you're setting a player down. I lived all that. And, I was just talking to some of our players the other day. We got some players that play on the fourth line, which I was, and play 8 to 10 minutes a night. Don't play every night or in and out of the lineup. And so when I sit down with those players, I tell them I lived it. I know what you're going through. And try to dwell on that, give some words of wisdom. But really it's just support for those players that know that, hey, I understand what you're going through. And just try to pass that on.
Wouldn't it be great to play the game with their equipment, though? When you consider the stuff you guys wore and the skates you wore and the sticks you used?
Yeah, no, it is amazing how things have changed. But the speed of the game, I don't know if I could keep up. Thank God when I played, and the league did a great job, that hooking and grabbing. I remember the one year we were in Winnipeg, we were playing Calgary. We always had the Calgary. It was either Calgary or Edmonton. We were playing one of the two in the first round of the playoffs. And we're playing Calgary, and I played with Joey Mullen. Actually played with him in Salt Lake City here. That's where we played, and that's where we play tomorrow. So great memories. But and Joey and we played together in Salt Lake City, and he was what got traded to Calgary, and so we're playing against him. My job is to check him. I mugged him like I might as well just been in his back seat because I mugged and grabbed him and so much. And I love Joey. He's a great guy. I remember on face-off just saying, Joey, sorry, I got to do this. and it's just like the hooking and the grabbing we used to do for the neutral zone, and to see the game now, how we've improved it. It's the speed of the game. It's unbelievable.
What's amazing to me, Jim, is the guy that's enforcing all this stuff is a guy that was really good at it, and Colin Campbell.
He was one of the best. No, he's one of the best.
He was like an old wool blanket. And here he's the guy that's reinvented the game.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. That's why like a lot of people are involved in when we came out of that the lockout and how we changed the game and what it's done for the game. It's the skill level and the speed is out of this world.
Did you still complain about getting a holding penalty or a hooking penalty?
Yeah, we still complain about it. That wasn't that bad. Here you got both arms around the guy. But you go through the neutral zone. You were getting, like I said, it was just you're getting sticks on guys and the slashes on the hands, and it was a different game. It was a different game.
Jason Robertson, did you sit down and have a conversation with him after the Olympic announcements and the rosters came out?
Yes, I did. Yes, that's a tough situation. He's come in, and when we were talking over the summer, I said, Jason, let's just, the year before he had injuries, missed all the training camp due to injuries. So I said, let's go have a good year. You got the Olympics on, going on. Let's get prepared for that, have a good season. And he did that. He came out, had a great start of the year. And Bill Guerin called me, just before he was going to give him a call and said, heads up, he's not being selected to the team right now. And, I'm doing the same thing with Canada. So I said, Billy, I fully understand. Tough decisions have to be made. But I did feel for Jason. I sat down with him and said, Jason, look, you've done everything you can do. That's all you can do. You controlled your part. And he was very good. He understood. And like I said, I just said, use it as motivation. I said, the other thing is, I hope there's no injuries, but I know you're in the mix. Just keep playing the way you're playing. And that's all you can control. And he was very good about it.
Now, be honest, Jim. As one of the guys in the Canadian management team, you had to be doing a double fist pump that Jason Robertson's done on the American team. Come on now.
Yeah,
Come on.
No, like I said, I'm just disappointed for him.
Right.
These guys have waited many years, because of different circumstances. Olympics have been a no-go for guys, and now you get a chance to do it. And he played well. Like I said, he's done everything he can do. But
would you have the same conversation with Wyatt Johnston?
Same conversation with Wyatt. I just told Wyatt, I said, Wyatt, you're right there. You've been there. You're in the mix for the Four Nations. You've been in the mix for the Olympic team. What a great honor for a young player to be in that mix. And I said, just keep playing. Like I said, I hope there's not injuries, but if there is, just be playing your game.
Let's pick up on this conversation after the break with Jim Nill, the general manager of the Dallas Stars, and 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon.
Car shopping should be exciting, not exhausting. That's where Car Gurus comes in. They have advanced search tools, unbiased deal ratings, and price history, so you know a great deal when you see one. It's no wonder that Car Gurus is the #1 rated car shopping app in Canada. When you're car shopping on your phone, it shouldn't be a maze. You need to see all the information. With the Car Gurus app, you can. Powerful search tools that you see deal ratings, price history, and dealer reviews on listings all in one place. And you can turn on real-time price drop alerts so you never miss a great deal. Car Gurus connects you with trusted dealerships when you're ready, ensuring a transparent, hassle-free buying process. Buy your next car today at cargurus.ca. Make sure your deal is the best deal. That's cargurus.ca. cargurus.ca.
How stressful was the lead up to the finalizing of your roster with Canada for you?
Yeah, I don't. It wasn't stressful. It's really a great process. We've got a great team. The other GMs that are on our selection committee on the team. Everybody worked hard. Everybody was going to games. It's been a great experience that way, and very humbling experience. And everybody, we did our work, did our homework. We had numerous meetings. We met at the GM meetings in November. We had a big meeting in December, and then another meeting at the end of December. So we did our homework. Really the Four Nations it started a year before that because of the Four Nations, which really helped. I think it would have been stressful without the Four Nations. That would have been a tough, just doing that 1 year because Four Nations was, that was the first time. That's the first time that's happened for 10 years since we've gone to the Olympics. The Four Nations was kind of the first coming out party of this. So the Four Nations really gave us a head start, and from there, kind of had the foundation built, and then from there we just kind of grew our lists, watched players. Some players grew from the Four Nations, some didn't. Some guys that were in the mix for the Four Nations and didn't make it came back in the mix. So it was a great process and a real humbling process.
Did you expect more changes from the Four Nations or about the same?
We met after the Four Nations had kind of went through everything, and we went through that. We said there's probably going to be quite a few changes, just because there's a lot of great players out there, and that's no knock to the guys of the Four Nations. Those guys played great, and that was kind of the cream of the crop. But we knew there's probably going to be some changes, and there was, which was been a few changes, but been probably more guys in the mix other than changes, which has been great.
You talked about dealing with the other managers. I know Peter was part of that process too,
Yes.
because he's taken a we can call it a sabbatical. Did you talk to any of the players, like the senior guys, like the Crosbys, those types of guys, the Brad Marchands, particularly Sid, who not only played at Four Nations but went to the World Championships?
Yes, no, that's part of our leadership group, and we've talked to them quite a bit. Got their input, over different things. Less about players. We kind of had a review after the Four Nations and discussed players. Got some feedback. The coaches communicated more with the players, during the Four Nations, a little bit after. So we got their feedback. That's where it was good to have Pete in our meetings. So he had that feedback, what players thought. Some of them shared what how we should play, what we needed to add to the team, but also the process of going to the Olympics, different things taking place. When you land over there, do you practice right away? Just different things that people probably don't know in the background. And going to the Olympics is different than going to the Stanley Cup playoffs or whatever, because it's a different setup. It's you're going to be living in dorms. The dress room's not going to be very big. It's going to be a city rink. So it's going to be like some city rink in Toronto or Calgary or Vancouver. There's going to be room for one masseuse table. There's not going to be, the facilities aren't going to be the same. And we're trying to prepare the players for much as we can for that. That's what we had. We had a get together in Calgary in the summertime. Brought 40 of the players we thought were going to be in the mix. And that was kind of the message we relayed, was that, what, guys, we want to get you prepared. It's not going to be where you're staying is not going to be the Ritz-Carlton you stay in the NHL. It's going to be a different setup, but it is part of the experience. You need to live it. And we really feel the teams that adapt the quickest to the surroundings are going to be the teams that have success. So we tried to prepare the players for that.
Are you going to stay in the dorm, or are you going to stay in the hotel?
We're in the hotel, yeah. The management. And
you had to sacrifice and take the hotel.
Yeah, we had to sacrifice that. Yeah, so we're not in the dorm. There's only a certain amount of people allowed in there. Like, even it's hard to get. You got ART people. It's hard to get those people in. So it's pretty restricted. It's going to be a little bit different Olympics. I was fortunate. I played in Lake Placid, probably the last of the small Olympic towns and that, but great experience, with the athletes and that. But in Italy, it's, in Milan, it's I believe it's hockey, women's and men's hockey, paraplegic hockey, I think figure skating, speed skating. Then the other venues are 4 to 5 hours away. Cortina is, I don't know, it's skiing. Another city's got bobsledding. So it's a little bit different, the Olympic Village, compared to the past Olympics, because it's not all the athletes are in one spot. They're all kind of separated in 4 different villages.
What do you remember about Lake Placid?
That's something I shared with kind of our group a little bit, was how quick it happens. You got to be careful. You start the games and you lose one game, it goes pretty quick. You play 2 games right away, bang bang, back to back, and so you got to be prepared, got to be ready. But the other thing is enjoying the experience. Meeting the other athletes. The Olympic Village in Lake Placid, our village was a penitentiary they built. It turned into a penitentiary. It's still there, and that's where we stayed. But it was outstanding. It was the athletes were all in there close together, just meeting the other people, and but it was great. But it goes fast. You really got to be careful. Got to be ready to go from the start.
How much emphasis do you put on those early games, knowing that it is a process to build your team throughout? It's different than Lake Placid with pool play and a medal round. Yeah,
well, you got to be careful, because it's a lot of it's seeding and stuff, and they're all. I get back to they're all good teams. Any team can beat anybody, so you got to be ready to go. It's one great goaltending performance can change anything. We start with the Czechs. They're a good team. They always play well against Canada. There's a great rivalry there. They're good teams. There's probably 4 or 5 teams that could win this thing, and so we got to be ready. And that's where the Four Nations was great. We learned that in the Four Nations. We could have lost, almost lost to Finland. People forget we were up 4-2, and all of a sudden they scored a couple quick goals. Sweden could have lost to Sweden, so it's these one-game shots are tough, and so we got to be careful.
Do you think that reflected in the players you selected?
Yeah, the experience, and that's what you talk. Sidney Crosby's been, he's been through all these different experiences. Brad Marchand's, and all these tournaments, whether it's Olympics, World Championships, you're going to go through a bump somewhere. And experience is a big part of that. How do you get out of that? You can't dwell in it. You can't let it wreck your tournament. And there's going to be a bump in a game somewhere. And that's where, the coaching staff, we got a great coaching staff, John Cooper, they've been through these things. And there's going to be a time in a game when the wheels are coming off and you got to bring it back quick, because if you don't, it could cost you the tournament.
You have several players going to Italy on various countries, Finland being the most dominant. How difficult, putting your player hat on as you watch as a manager right now, do you think it is for the guys? We're a week out and they got to play hard for your team, but in the back of their mind, they got to be thinking, I got to play safe just to get there.
Well, and they got things going on. They got family. They've all got family that's flying over to watch the Olympics. There's logistics they're trying to figure out. Lots going on in their minds. And we had a meeting about a week ago, and that's what we talked about. We just said, guys, we got back then we had 6 games to go. Let's keep our focus on these 6 games. I know that the players are going to the Olympics. They're worried about getting mom and dad and their family, and either getting a hotel or an Airbnb and how they're flying over. And then you got the other guys on the team that they're not going to the Olympics, but they got plans. And so it's really been a different, keeping everybody focused here for this last kind of 2 weeks has been kind of our mantra, is just let's stay in it. And, because it is different. It's been a different year that way. Usually you're ramping up right now, getting ready for a trade deadline in February, and players wondering what's going on and getting your game going, and the coaches are getting, the team focused. This is different. You got guys heading over to Milan. You got guys heading to maybe back home somewhere, or heading down to Mexico, who knows where, and just got to stay focused.
I want to get to the trade deadline stuff, but with a week out, with a week before everybody goes to Italy, Brad Marchand took a tweak last night. Logan Thompson's day to day. How does your management team get together now between the end of the month and the travel day to decide what happens and who goes, if in fact there is a replacement required?
Yeah, we've had calls about every 2 or 3 days. We've kept in touch. We've got a list of players for each position. We've been focused on those guys, and we're continue to watch the games. And like I said, we hope there's no injuries, but we're prepared for that if it does happen.
And the deadline, you've got the roster freeze for the Olympics. Has that created any more chatter?
I think for some teams it has. I think there's some teams that, there's what we're just talking about, injuries. Teams are worried. If you're a team. Now, it's different this year, too. I'm going to talk both sides of my mouth here. I've never seen a season like this before, where you look at the standings. And, we just had our pro and amateur meetings about 3 weeks ago. And usually by this time, you know who the sellers are and you know who the buyers are. Well, if you look at the standings right now, and then I'm talking to teams on a daily basis, the word is, I don't know where I'm at. I don't know where, am I seller? Am I buyer? I'm going to watch over the next 5, 6, 7 games, see where I'm at. And so a lot of teams don't know where they're at just because of standings. And, one thing people forget is how important it is for a team to make the playoffs, what that does for your franchise.
It keeps your owner happy.
Keeps the owner happy. The people got to sell tickets. You're selling your franchise. It's success of your franchise, and players want to have a chance to win the Stanley Cup. And so, what it means to your franchise, especially teams that have missed the playoffs over the last 4, 5, 6, 7 years, it's huge. So there's teams out there that have an opportunity right now. They're all in it, and they're trying to decide what direction to go. And so there's, so backing up from that question, which direction our teams are going, they don't know yet. So we're all trying to get prepared for that. And, we got this deadline because of the Olympics. So there's teams that, it's probably 4 or 5 teams that kind of know what direction they're going. They're worried. They got players that they don't, injury could come into play. We've seen it with the Rangers situation. Sit no players in that. So teams have to make that decision over the next 5-6 days here, whether move somebody. So there's that chatter. And then there's the teams that are in the playoffs, like ourselves, Vegas, teams like this, Edmonton, all these teams. They're sitting there saying, well, let's get through the Olympic break. Let's see where our own teams are at. We've all got players going to the Olympics. I hope nobody gets hurt, but if it does happen, I can't commit to making a trade now. I might pick up a forward in 2 days, and I get 2 defensemen hurt. And I've used my assets to go get a forward, and I need that now for a defenseman. So we're all kind of waiting. And then on the flip side is come out of the break, teams are going to have a better feel who's in it and out of it. So is it going to be a bigger market for players? So we're just all we're just kind of all walking that tightrope right now, trying to see what direction we're going to go.
So you don't plan to do anything before the Olympics?
I want to say I'm not planning, but if I might get a call here today and something makes sense, but I'm being very cautious.
Right.
I got to be very patient here because I want to make sure what our needs are, and that could change after Olympics, and what's available at the time.
And you have a situation. You got some of your young guys you have to re-sign. I mean, Jason Robertson, you got to re-sign him, so that's going to affect what you do long term with your cap situation. Correct?
Correct. Yeah. No, I got to be careful picking up if I make a trade. I could be picking up somebody with term. If I pick up somebody that's got 3-4 years of term left at $5-6 million, that's going to affect my process for signing some of the players I got to sign. So it's really clear as mud, is what I'm saying.
Are you still trying to chase down Colorado?
Yeah, it's hey, tip I have. They're having a great season. What a great season. But they're. I mentioned in December we went through a bump in the road. You're going to go through it sometime. You hope it's not in the first round of the playoffs. They're going through their bump right now. They've lost 6 of their last 7 games. So you don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to be like. It's going to be a sprint to the playoffs. We come out. Everybody's going to have around 25 to 30 games left in the season, and it's going to be a sprint. So we'll see. They're having a great year, and in the end, we just got to make sure we're playing our game. Just make sure we get our game up to snuff. And if that happens, we play Colorado 3 more times. Let's see where it goes.
That is amazing that the way the schedule has worked out, that you have back-ended those 3 games against I would assume right now, your bitterest rival.
Yeah. It's funny how that happens every year. It always, I know, like last year, Winnipeg, we played them 2 or 3 times late in the season.
Yeah.
That. So it's amazing how the schedule maker kind of has a feeling for what's going to go on.
Are teams more willing to trade within the division? We saw the Islanders and the Devils make trades. The Rangers are involved in that.
Yeah, I think teams are pretty, you're careful, but if it's something that makes sense for both teams, it's because it's not, a lot of times your trade options are limited, and that might be your best option to do it. And, I go back to last year. Now, this was a little bit different. We wouldn't trade with each other, but, I was telling my staff this when we had our meetings, our amateur and pro meetings. If you would have told last year at that time, back last January, we never talked about Mikko Rantanen. We never said, boy, let's try to go after him. Well, because of different scenarios, we got Mikko Rantanen. So you never dream that. You don't know what's going to happen. And that kind of goes back to what we talked about a little bit earlier about, waiting, when are we going to make some moves? You just don't know what's going to happen sometimes. So you just got to be patient, wait for the right situation, and be prepared for it.
So in your meetings, are your amateur guys just begging you not to trade draft picks? Or just saying, don't do it, don't do it?
No, they like to win too. And they know where our team's at. And I challenge them. Their job is we got to find some players in the later rounds. So dig in. So they, like I said, they like to win. When that usually happens is usually on the draft floor when the draft starts up and you get to about the second round. You always ask the amateur scouts, what type of year is it? It's an okay year. It's okay. You can trade your picks away. All of a sudden you get to the draft floor and they're like, boy, I wish we had another pick. I really like this guy. We'd like to pick him up. So it always changes on the draft floor, but that's not, they're doing their job. And I love it when they push me, when they say, hey, got to get another pick because there's a guy there we like. Good for them. That's their job.
What was your favorite haunt in Salt Lake City when you played there?
It's Salt Lake City. Have you been to Salt Lake City?
Salt Lake Eagles, I guess, right?
Yeah, the Golden Eagles, Salt Lake City
Golden Eagles, yeah.
Yeah, I loved it here. We had a great team. We won it that year. That was my first year pro. So we came out of the Olympics, and I was drafted by St. Louis. So I turned pro. It was my first year pro. We had a good team. I love Salt Lake City. So
here's the deal, though, Jim. 222 penalty minutes for Jim Nill.
Yeah.
Year one, 222.
Yeah. And they weren't. I'm not a yapper, so there's no misconducts and stuff. But no, we just
all bad calls.
Bad calls. The refereeing and stuff. Yeah, no, it's just the way. We had a good team. We had Joey Mullen was on the team. Paul McLean, Red Lawrence. Some names people aren't gonna hear, but Red Lawrence. We had Lenny Frigg,
Mark Reeds, Floyd
Mark
Thompson.
Reeds, Floyd Piner Thompson, Lenny Frigg. We had a good team. We had a good team. It was a great mix of veterans. It was that was St. Louis's farm team. It was the old Central League. So that was Fort Worth, Dallas, Salt Lake City, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Wichita, and Birmingham, Alabama.
Who was your coach?
Jack Evans.
Tex Evans.
Man.
Oh, really?
Tex Evans. Great man. Great coach. I got so much respect how he handled everything. And but we had a good team, and but I love Salt Lake City. It's like a little bit like living in Calgary. So that's where I'm from, the western prairies and stuff. So we're in the mountains. We're 20 minutes to get to the mountains, the ski hills. We're supposed to ski, not that I did, but we had a real fun group of guys, great veteran presence. The veterans had been there for a while, and they didn't want to leave. They'd get called up, and they'd say, "No, I'm not going. I don't want to go." They didn't want to get called up. They're on one-way contracts, a lot of them, and they were like, "No, I don't want to go up to St. Louis." That was kind of funny that way, but great place to play. I loved it here, and like I said, I got fond memories, and we won it. We had a good team, real good team.
Just as a total aside, I was looking at the roster, and one of your defensemen was a guy named Mike Boland.
Yes.
Mike Boland became a great cameraman.
Yep.
And Mike Boland was the cinematographer for Boys on the Bus.
Yep.
And so when all this great practice footage of the Oilers skating and the cameras on the ice skating around with them like it's like he's part of the club was because Mike Boland was such a good hockey player, as well as he was a good cameraman.
Yeah, he was a good man. He's a real good man too. Real good man. Yeah, no,
just passed away, Jim. He's really sad.
So. Yeah. So it's like I said, great experience, and it's funny. My daughter lives here now. My daughter got married this summer, and her and her husband live in Salt Lake City. So you amazing where your paths take you. You never know. So it's good.
That's incredible. Looking forward to watching your group have great success at the Olympic Winter Games in Milan. Best of luck and enjoy the experience. I know you will. And really appreciate you taking the time during this hectic season for us in 100% Hockey. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, guys, I just want to thank you guys. It's always great to be on your show and stuff. So thank you.
With the NHL app, you can listen to every NHL game right from your phone. And with home and away broadcast feeds, you choose your way to listen.
And he scores!
Whether you're at work, at the gym, or stuck in traffic, the NHL app puts you right in the action all season long. Every team, every game, everywhere you go. Download the NHL app and never miss a moment.
Now, do you watch the show? Do you watch the show on YouTube or do you listen on
I always listen to the podcast.
You do?
Always. Huh? In the last 2 weeks,
yeah,
I've done a complete change. It's all YouTube now. I have not played it on podcast platform in the last 2 weeks. And
Play it because we need the downloads.
Oh, okay. I'll do that just when I'm driving around.
Downloaded it before you go to bed and just play it.
This will sound funny to the listeners and the viewers, but I like to listen back because I hear more of the conversation when we're doing an interview like with Jim. In a corner of your mind, you're thinking about where am I taking the conversation next, while trying to listen, but you're not absorbing it. You're listening for certain jump-off points or follow-up points, but you don't get to absorb it. I like to listen back to really let it soak in. And now I do it just like with when McCown was on and simulcast in Toronto or Hockey Central at noon. I like to be able to see it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's been a good
What do you
decision.
do?
I spot check YouTube, but I listen to the
What is
podcast.
spot check, man? I've been in this business for 30 years. I have
Well,
no
one of the
idea
great-
what that is.
One of the great things on YouTube is, and the same on the podcast, is that you can read the transcripts. Everything's transcripted, so it's fantastic. So
what you just said is transcribed?
yeah. You can go on our channel and see the transcript.
We pay somebody for that?
You don't. So for instance, on our other podcast, 100% Canucks, I wanted to find a story that Max Sasson told about face-offs against Scott Laughton. And so I went back and spot checked the show, and through the transcript, I found it, and then I could find the video and listen to it, so I understood the question. Because Sasson talks about how he thinks Scott Laughton cheats on every face-off. And Max is a young guy, and he's trying to learn how to be a face-off guy, and it's a good conversation about he had with the linesman about going head-to-head with a veteran center. So, and they play together. They play each other tomorrow night in Vancouver. So,
Spot check.
it's a spot. I spot check the show, and I do quality control, making sure the graphics are right and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, I just keep an eye on it and go, oh, I look good. The camera zoomed in on me.
No, the camera zoomed in on John Garrett. That was the problem because you wore the hat. And people commented, what drug is Millard on? So
here's the thing. I take notes and I doodle.
Yeah.
It's 50% doodling, 50% notes. So I'm always writing things down. And I look down and I've got the hat on.
I know. Well,
I apologize to people.
I don't take notes.
It'll come in handy someday, and you won't be there. I don't have to spot check because I've got my notes.
Yeah, there you go. You were supposed to tell us a big story at the end of the show here, because weren't you?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I thought you had a
Maybe
big
that
story.
was yesterday.
No,
maybe that was the day before.
No, you were supposed to have a big thing. So.
Oh, it was Charlie Lindgren. That's what it was.
Oh, the Lindgren story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
By the way. I want to ask you, did you one of your early games last night was Colorado at Montreal?
Yeah.
And the Avalanche wore their Nordiques sweaters.
Shout out to Montreal for letting that happen. Right?
Well, I would assume Canadians were involved in the decision.
Yeah. Like that was so cool.
I like the fact that there are blue and, we don't need white sweaters all the time.
There's a lot of solid color stuff happening.
More and more happening because, there are only 7 black and white televisions left in North America. So,
is that why it was?
It was done for television. Oh, it's done for television. Oh. Absolutely. Yeah, sure. But what you think it was a great idea? Nordique versus Canadians
in Montreal.
Yeah. Well, where else could it have been? And made sense.
It
couldn't have been in Quebec City. Couldn't have been in Quebec City.
No, but it could have been they could have just done it in Denver.
Yeah, they could have. But it wouldn't have meant as much in Denver as it did at the Bell Center.
That's why I think it was great that Montreal opened the door to that.
And you don't think it's rubbing salt in the wounds of Quebec Nordiques fans?
No, I think it's celebrating Quebec Nordique fans.
Okay, good. You're a cup half full guy. I like that.
Yeah. I would love for the Winnipeg Jets to wear the last jersey that the version 1.0 wore back in 1996. at some point. I would like that to happen. I love the fact that the Carolina Hurricanes wear the Hartford Whalers sweaters at times during the course of the season.
The Jet, in defense of the Jets, and I don't do that very often, is they really have used the WHA sweater.
Yes,
more so than the John Ferguson sweater.
Yeah, I would like to see the John Ferguson sweater.
Yeah, because the John Ferguson sweater was adapted from when Fergie went to the Rangers and changed the whole Ranger situation. And then when he got the job in Winnipeg, he just took the old Ranger shield off and put the Jets logo on.
Like, you tell me people wouldn't want to celebrate the California Golden Seals?
Okay, for what team?
For San Jose.
Or, well, they were half of the Seals were half,
but they get the tiebreaker because they still play in California.
Okay, but they could. Well, no, I mean the Nordiques don't play in Colorado, doesn't play in Quebec, and they use them.
No, but I'm just telling you why
not
going to San Jose?
Why not do the Cleveland Barons then?
Oh, we absolutely should. That was my next.
Because what happened?
The New Jersey Devils should wear the Colorado Rockies sweaters against the Colorado Avalanche.
Wow, that's a good one. I like that.
That would be neat.
Yeah.
Well, now, of course, stopping them from doing that?
Anybody under the age of 40 saying, well, the Rockies are a baseball team. How could they play and wear those?
Look at what Major League Baseball does with all their city sweaters and the massive amount of jerseys that they wear and different kits.
Yeah.
The National Hockey League is going down this path. We had the conversation because Vegas is going to play in the Stadium Series next year against Dallas. What to do with some of their sweaters, and there were some really cool ideas. And I think the National Hockey League can open it up to non-special events or big events and just have neat offerings, whether it's the Cleveland Barons against the Colorado Rockies or something like that.
You could have the Cleveland Barons play the California Seals.
Right. How about the Atlanta Flames against the Calgary Flames?
Well, no, you need a team. You can't do that.
Why?
Well, who would wear the Atlanta Flame sweaters?
All right, it's the same team, right?
Yeah, it's the same team.
Yeah.
I mean, Cleveland.
That's right. Good catch on that one.
Thank you. This is unfortunately this is right up my alley. All this.
I was making it up on the fly, and that's why you got to think things through.
That's why you have to think things through. Every once
inter squad game though, because the Atlanta Cup.
See, you're trying to justify this. It doesn't work. It just.
I should have said goodbye.
Yeah, but no, you should say like, subscribe, and goodbye.
Okay, on the podcast platform, give us a 5-star. That's I don't even need the likes. I just want a 5-star. And on the YouTube platform, send me a note. Hi, Millard. Send me a note.
Oh, hi, Gyprock. Hi, Gyprock.
Use those anchor screws. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, Nick. Hey, another big week on the show next week.
Final week of the season before the Olympic break.
That doesn't mean we're stopping doing podcasts. So we will be doing podcasts during the break.
Following the Olympic Winter Games.
Following the Olympic Winter Games, which we can't call them the Olympic Winter Games.
Why?
Copyright.
So did I just violate it?
No, but we can't use it in any of our promotion. Like for instance, how many times have we already heard enjoy the big game in Santa Clara? You got to watch what you do. The copyright police will be all over you.
Yeah. Come and get me. I'll be standing behind you.
Yeah, that's right. As usual.
Have a good weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you next time on 100% Hockey. Like, subscribe, 5-star, and say hi, Millard.
Like, subscribe, goodbye.